to another edition of If You Asked Jimmy. Today in our studios, we have Chief, let me call it exactly the way he prefers to be called, Oloye Layi Deinde. Oloye Layi Deinde is a civil engineer who hails from Ota in Ogun State, and he doubles as a farmer, a social media observer, and he enjoys meeting people. For your information, guys, Oloye Deinde is a public commentator who has a huge followership on the social media space, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and other major social media platforms. Oloye, welcome to If You Ask Jimmy. Welcome, sir.
Thank you. Yeah.
All right. I just made my introduction about you very brief. Is there something you'd like to add? We want our viewers to meet you.
It can be better said. That says it all.
Awesome. So let's hit the ground running. I have observed your activities in the social media, and one of the reasons why we brought you to this platform today is your social media engagement. Very impressive how you discuss social and public and political matters, economics, in fact, everything Nigeria and global. And I see the balance in your opinion where you engage people in a very, very dispassionate and neutral manner, and also try to offer recommendations on the way forward. And that's why we brought you here today. Thanks for coming on Jimmy's podcast, sir.
I feel humbled. Thank you.
Absolutely. Where do we start from? Can you just share with us what's your motivation for coming to the public space to, engage your audience in diverse topics from the mundane to the sublime? Why you do that? Because I see your post every day, how you try to contribute to what is happening in our space. Can you tell us what's your motivation?
As an observer in any system or in any society, observers look at things and they, from a critical perspective, and they try to prefer better ways of getting things done. I have a background of leadership and administration. My father, a former chairman of Ifo local government, then Ado local government, who played his part in governance. So from that background and so many other extended people, we used to see the way they do things. Then today, when you look at the landscape, see that there is need for a lot of improvement in the system. So when there is a gap, when there's need for people to do things better, one of the ways of contributing is to prefer better ways of doing things, and then trying to strike a good balance so that you don't, when you tell people that, okay, you can do things better, you try and strike a balance so that they don't see you as being antagonistic or from an enemy perspective. So that's the thing. We want a better space.
So you come from a political family. Yeah, we grew up together, and your dad was 2 times chairman of our local government, even when the local government was split more into what it is today. So you are saying you cut your teeth from there. When you look at our social media space, are you concerned about how people engage? Because we look at the older generation, we have a view about maybe the kind of toxic, caustic, and sometimes very, very brutal way people communicate their thoughts. Everyone has a right to their opinion, but when you look at it very closely, it looks as if people don't have that patience or the maturity to actually have conversations to agree without being disagreeable. And sometimes you don't even want to read the comments that educated, enlightened people put out there in the social space. Instead of engaging and instead of having constructive conversations and criticisms and sharing opinions and, just sometimes, do you get bothered how people react to issues in Nigeria, the polarization, and some of the times unpalatable comments and outright abuse and cursing? What's your opinion on that?
Well, if we limit it to Nigeria, well, there's a source of worry over the way we handle issues. Sometimes we will leave critical issues and then we pick on the trivial. That is one. Two, a lot of people don't look critically at issues. We just react spontaneously to issues without consulting or conducting of any due diligence. And then the liberty and the lack of regulation, so to speak, in the media space gives room for people to just come barge into issues, just say whatever to whoever. Sometimes I have experience of people, personal experience of people who have spoken against their potential benefactors. So who later they met each other and then I say, are you Oloye Layi Deinde? Then they will say, okay, yesterday you disparaged me, you threw me under the train so much. Why? So yes, there's liberty, there's freedom of expression, yes, and there's freedom for people to express themselves. But on the social space, we have taken it too far. We've taken it extremely too far in, not being cautioning ourselves.
That reminds me.
Then it's not just a young person thing. It's not for the Gen Z generation alone. It cuts across. Surprisingly, there are times.
Go ahead,
There
sir.
There are times old people disappoint themselves when you see old, educated people who should be better informed. It comes sometimes to the social media with below par contribution. Then we wonder why, what's happening? What's happening? How do we, if we want to caution young people, the Gen Z generation, okay, how do we caution perceive old people who should know better and understand how to, treat issues?
That is true. That is true. When you, to buttress what you just said, if you look closely, even in our national political space, in this current government, I think there was a minister, I can't remember who, with the name of that guy, who took the president to the cleaners in the past, and this same person has value to offer, but the president was not vindictive because he saw, value in him. I think the guy is in the tech space. He still appointed him a minister, and it became an issue for the guy during his screening at the Senate and for ministerial position, that you said this in the past. That's not to say people should not criticize, right? But the length to which he went to criticize was not ethical. Yeah. And we have some, government, I don't know whether to call them government patrons right now. Look at people like Reno Mokri, people like Wala. Wala is on president's team now. Is even looking like the arrowhead of the president communications, and media team in a way. He might not have that title, but is the one doing the cleanup job. And you see how he took the president to the cleaners in the past. But back to the social media space, I see how, go ahead.
Jimmy, this is it. Me, I don't like anyone gaggling the next person. I don't like being silenced. And I don't support anyone silencing the next person. Criticism and positive feedback helps the system. So when there is always a better way of doing everything. Even good system, good processes can be better done. So that's where criticism comes in. So as observers in the social space, it's good to criticize, offer better ways, alternatives to issues. Then we should be moderate in doing it in such a way that when Layi criticizes Jimmy one day, I should be able to look at you in the face and tell you, say, yes, I said this, I did this. Not for me to come in contact with someone I once criticized and then for me to close my eyes in shame. No, criticize, but be objective we should be objective in our criticism.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Makes sense. Thank you, Oloye Layi. Now, just this week, I will try to take you because in the space, I see your social media activity back to back. And sometimes I don't know if people still have the time to go to mainstream media these days because people like you keep feeding us with the updates of the most important meets, I would have said juicy stories of what is going on, but sometimes some of those stories are not really juicy, but you only report and share what is going on, okay? And sometimes we just have to go to the newspapers to seek more information on some of those things. Um, Different things that are happening right now and burning issues. Are we still going to have opposition in 2027 with the gale of deflection that we see right now? Recently, El-Rufai came out and he was grandstanding, he was doing, maybe Nigeria call it initial gra-gra. He sounded, because he was saying a lot of things that people can easily relate with. He really came hard on the government, which he has a right to. And it looks as if he was galvanizing people so that they can have a very strong force. I remember the last election, even the one before it, second force, third force, fourth force, all of those things, the president still won. Now, the kind of velocity, let me use that word, that El-Rufai brought to the space, you would have thought that the whole of Nigeria or the elites they are lining up behind him. But before you could say Jack Robinson, you see everybody turning to, jumping from Labour, from PDP, including state governors, including the former vice presidential candidate to Atiku in the last election. They are jumping on the ship to join Alhaji Asiwaju's government. Are we still going to have opposition? Because Labour now is already split. SDP that this guy went to, I don't know whether they are still SDPing. And now here we are, the governor of one of the richest states, traditionally PDP states, with
Delta State.
Delta, and even Jigawa, so a lot of those people are joining. Are we moving towards a one-party state, Chief Deinde?
This is a very tough one. There is need. I wish there is a way the opposition is sustained, but nobody spoon feeds the opposition. See, nobody can just opposition fights for existence. Nobody gives space or create room for opposition to operate. Opposition creates its own space by itself, and there are so many issues that the opposition can use to operate with, because governance presently, there are so many better ways of doing things, and that is the crux of the matter. So many issues for the opposition to deliberate on, treat, dissect, and offer better alternatives day by day. For everybody running into the ruling party, well, that goes to show that our political space is not issue-based. It's more of a person to person, who how you know. We don't have a lot of issue-based political platforms. That is why someone will criticize beyond the limits in month 1, and then the next month is going to serve in the government he once criticized. And then when asked, how come you spoke against all these policies last month, today you are with them, they offer next to nothing as defenses. You see, well, talking about second force, third force, and all sort of forces, I didn't mean we have room for cultivation of real issues. Then we'll be building a good opposition base, whereby we have a system that can really challenge the ruling party. Opposition is not supposed to be spoilers. Opposition is not supposed to be spoiler, but they are supposed to offer better ways of getting things done. Not to be spoilers, but to offer better ways of doing things. But today in Nigeria, it's all about for me to join Jimmy in his party, then I agree to everything Jimmy agrees to. Once I go against Jimmy, Jimmy throws me out of his party. And then for me to join, or Jimmy to join me in his, then if any day he goes against my policy, I throw him out of my party.
Yeah.
We don't have the party, we don't have the party structure as of old, where everybody contributes their pittance and their ideas in forming, political parties and party ideologies. Today, it's the idea of one person, and the money bag, the war chest of one person that run parties to this day.
Wonderful. So it looks like people, either their defection and all those things is either what is in it for me, what people say WIIFM, or because you said it's not ideology based, it's showing clearly that they have no, and then what is in it for me, there's stomach infrastructure. So people even know that maybe some people might be under the radar of the investigative authorities like EFCC, but when we look across, it doesn't look like some of the people that are moving even have any cases like that. Is it that the APC, because two things now, the politics and the society, let's say the socio-economic now, that's social and economic, the economy is not looking like this government is so fantastic or they are the best thing that happens since sliced bread, to the point that people will now be saying, oh, we want to really follow this government. People are crying. Their life is not difficult for people. And you will think that that will be an opportunity for opposition to engage them, just like you are saying, constructively. Now, the opposition themselves, is it what is in it for me? Is it stomach infrastructure? Is it that they see that they cannot outplay the current party, because people believe that why those people are ganging up the current president and the party, they are getting the politics right, where politics is not like what will benefit the people, but to understand the Nigerian system and how the people work, and to get people to align with them. It looks like they are getting that right. Otherwise, people that are supposed to be standing and utilize the opportunity of the hardship and the stress, the political stress, the economic stress, the security stress in the country, to leverage it, to be able to take power from opposition, they are not together. Or
from the ruling party, you mean?
From the ruling party, sorry, thank you.
Yeah.
They are not getting their policies right. But the ruling party, because people never even thought that an APC government would take over from Buhari, with all the noise, with all the pain, with all the hardship Nigeria experienced under Buhari. So is it that, what exactly, stomach infrastructure, what is the need for me? Or is it just that the current government, when we say government, we would have to look at the leadership. The current president understands that game. And then that game, like you said, it's not to the favor of Nigerians in the real sense, right? Because they can have all the political power, but how are they using this power? Are people finding it easy? Are they comfortable? Is life easier for them? Are they more secured? What exactly is going on?
Well, I've said it before, then I'll say it again. Our polity is not issue-based. Then we do more of politics, living governance.
Thank you. Governance is the word.
You see, we leave politics, we put more emphasis on politics, and we de-emphasize governance.
Good
So
governance.
that's why we have the situation. That's why we are in the kind of situation where we are today in Nigeria. You see, it is not the most endowed with ideas that wins political position. It is more of how rich you are and how you are able to spread your tentacles. How do they spread their tentacles? It's just to have people all around the place. Then you in this place hold this money, hold forth here, hold forth there. Then on the election day, they use their watches to execute election. So we really need to go back into our smaller groups and make ideas work and make reason be the basis for our engagement in our small communities, in our families. We should allow ideas to take precedence. So if we allow ideas to take precedence, then we will look at issues more passionately and we'll be able to tell people based on our analysis that, okay, a government that falls short on security, on poor purchasing power for the people, poor economic situation where people struggle to make a living. So all that makes things easy, makes things difficult for the people. But today in Nigeria,
okay. Now
listen.
Oloye Layi Deinde,
Today in Nigeria, it's not about how well the ruling government impact positively on the people. That is giving people improved human development indices. No, it's just to be there, count days, get a bigger watches, go to the next cycle of election and win. So we really need to change our thought process and demand accountability from those in power. That they should make things be more better for the people, provide better infrastructure, give people better education, make health more bearable for the people, then basically to make living better.
Okay.
Than just counting days in power.
Indirectly. Okay. So in my opinion, is it that people are rewarding, this is not a judgment on the present government, but everybody knows that it is not a piece of cake right now. It is not Uhuru. We are in a very, very bad shape as a country. If they are telling us they are doing repairs, it looks like that they are still excavating the side. It's still underground. It might be macro. On the micro level, the man on the street and the man who is not on the street, people are feeling a lot of hardship in Nigeria. We are worse off than we have ever been as a people. But now, are people rewarding this level of governance? I won't say whether it's good governance or poor governance. Are they rewarding? I mean, what exactly is the motivation? Is it that all these people that say that we call the political class and the followership, what's our thought process? That we are approving, endorsing, validating the quality of governance that we are getting right now? Is what's going on?
Well, Jimmy, this is it. We are not paying attention to what we ought to pay attention to. You see, a society every society gets the quality of leadership it deserves. You see, we are fall short in conducting a better scrutiny on those who govern us. And that is why it's looking as if we endorse, poor delivery. We validate poor delivery from our leaders. We endorse inadequate or leadership deficiency. So we need to go back to the drawing board as a people in our small communities and ensure, better candidates as our leaders in our small, trade union groups, in our community development associations, even in our families. We should pay attention to, ensuring the emergence of quality candidates, even in traditional institutions. We should ensure the emergence of quality people in every sector. So when we, in our micro groups, in our subgroups, if we see to the emergence of quality leaders, it's the same thing will happen at the bigger stage. Yeah.
I have a rider to that question. Let's look at it this way. Some people believe there's a lot of shenanigans in our social media space. Today, you will hear Bobrisky, they will drag the issue for 4 to 6 weeks. That is around a period where there are major economic, political issues that are happening in our space. And we get distracted, get carried away. The next time, it will be VDM drama. The next time, it will be one funny thing or the other that does not add value. I'm sorry to say, look at the Natasha issue. It's sensitive because it's gender sensitive. It has to do with harassment accusations. It has to do with making sure that our leaders are responsible and accountable and they are moral in their leadership and there is no victimization. But some of those issues, you can even see the bandwidth that did not just the Senate that we are paying outrageous amount of money that they are paying themselves, even the whole society gravitating in a direction of I used to ask a question, what does this add to our GDP? We will see some people, they will just jump on it. They have been activists, maybe they have, been out of the space for a while. They will get some clout. You will just see everything. These are things that could be settled easily with lawsuits, going to court, taking it out of public space. Even the society can demand accountability from our political elected leaders in more responsible ways than spending 2, 3, 4 weeks on, we won't say they are trivial, but matters that could otherwise be handled without all of us just going with the frail. Do you sense that sometimes some of these things, I know that one in the Senate was organic, but some other ones that you see people just come to this space and start grandstanding and just trivial issues like that, Bobrisky and some other ones. There are many other ones like that, like, VDM, Falana, like all of those stuff. What does it add to our GDP? And do you sense that there could even be some, because people say there's this conspiracy theory that sometimes we don't even know if some of the power structure could even be inducing some of these things in order for us just to get distracted, to distract the rest of us?
It's a two-way thing. One is what fascinates the people. You see, we as human beings, instead of us to be particular about government giving us better infrastructure like road, water, electricity, we will leave such issues. We'll be trending the wedding of one person and the other person. I don't like mentioning names. We'll be trending a bisexual or a male tone female or female tone male. Those are the things we'll be trending. Those are the things we pay attention to. So one is what fascinates the people. Another one is this angle of maybe inducement from high places. Yeah. You see, when the people pay attention to trivial issues, it gives the leaders leverage. It insulates the leaders from accountability. The time you're supposed to spend asking why roads are not fixed, education is standard is dwindling, while university lecturers are on strike, while medical doctors are emigrating abroad. When we don't ask such questions, then we pay attention to some trivial fight between one lady and the other, and then we give traction to it. So the people in leadership position, one, they can really, they can add spice to it and help us add traction. Okay, let this issue trend, let this story trend, so that the people will not ask us, are not in shape, why road infrastructures are struggling to be fixed,
Right.
and all that.
Yeah, like during the
Triviality insulates people from, insulate the leaders.
yeah, like
From
during the
accountability.
subsidy removal thing, like during all the back and forth of the price of the fuel, everything going up, electricity, tariff. When the minister came the other time and said, that people should have deep freezer or something like that. Some of those funny conversations when the power grid is collapsing, when major issues are happening, including the controversy surrounding the, what is it called now, the state of emergency. Something will just be thrown into the space to keep the people busy, whether it's organic from, of course, we have the social space. And you understand? So, I mean, that's where the thought process, some people it's just a conspiracy theory. We know that we have social media influencers, we have social media non-entities, non-name British, yeah, British, nothing British. We have many. Because when you look at what value are these people, and funny enough, it's very concerning. When you look at some of those things, the only thing is that Nigeria are not coalescing surrounding the conversations that can bring solution to the space. It's just about getting easily distracted, sensationalism, and some of those. I mean, these things gain traction, they are easily consumed, and it's just like dopamine. It's just like a feel-good hormone, or maybe serotonin or oxytocin, whatever feel-good hormone. I know one of those is a feel-good hormone, and they love it. That takes me to the question of, the space of uh, our youths, because people talk a lot about Gen Z. It looks as if people come hard on Gen Zs all the time, as if they are just the segment, as if they are bad behaved or they are ill mannered. But like you said in the beginning, even the older ones and the adults, because I don't like vilifying any age group, but I want to talk about them. You are in Nigeria, for example. What do you see going on around you? How easy are parents, what is parenting like in Nigeria now? People are under pressure for survival and for everything. And we see what the parents are doing in the social space. How, if you compare like the generation, let me say like our own generation, for example, right now with our children, this I don't know whether it's bad mouthing of Gen Zs. Is it that is it real that they had just one special species of generation with the way they do things, or people are just over, how will I put it now? Um, I don't know which word to use. Maybe they are just having misplaced perception of the Gen Zs right now. As a parent of Gen Z yourself, you have a Gen Z, right?
Yeah. It's well, the young generation, the young generation are a product of the society. Then the main thing is this. You see, there's need for enhanced family structure. We need to go back to the drawing board and improve on our individual family structure. Then today, the statistics of single parents, single father, single mother is much. Say, it's not about forcing people on people that, okay, it's not about forcing people into marriage or forcing people on people, but the prevalence of divorce today is so high. And then children develop better. There are so many statistics to back this. As children, they develop better in an environment of the father and the mother, but must not be toxic. So, but children, they function better, they develop better where the father and the mother, groom them together. So, coming back to the issue of Gen Z, well, in the society that we have today, then with the infusion of a lot of things, the kind of music, the literature, the arts that is tainted. So it gives room for people to tilt more towards being loose and then carefree and not paying attention to morals. And then, so the worrisome perspective is the prevalence of drugs that cuts across now. Drugs and then the abuse of drugs is a general issue all over Nigeria. So I'm trying to limit this discussion to Nigeria today because well, I hope to have more opportunities, but I just want it to be more of Nigeria. So drug prevalence here is alarming. Talking about the Southwest, the Southeast, South, the North, everywhere. So, and then it is, see, parents need to work more on their children, pay more attention to their children. So that brings us back to what I said, that children groom under the United family, they tend to be better off, but it's not an 100% thing. But when you put down a United family of about 10, you have 6 to 7 raising their children well. So that's that.
Awesome. So whatever perception people have about the Gen Zs or the younger generation is a product of society. They are not really to blame, as it were, as if they fell from heaven.
The society, especially the where they came from, yeah, the families they evolved from.
Okay. Now, when you look at the space generally, what would you say have been the impact of social media on on all of us? Because you see, there's a Yoruba artist that sang a song that while your mates are making progress, you are busy just disturbing the neighborhood. Now, we see some of those things shared on WhatsApp, how people are using tech in other places, inventing and just, creating things and exporting to Africa. But what we do is to consume, and even the soft space, which is the social media space in the use, we see skits, we see entertainment, which is good. They make people happy. We see a lot of, violence. We see a lot of things. So while people are teaching their own generation, some other parts of the world, coding, AI, software engineering, and taking, leadership in space and other things, we are just busy, just pinging, tweeting, and Facebooking, threading, Snapchatting, and it's just the fun part of it. And then to abuse ourselves, to cuss ourselves out, and to just do some things that don't really add value together all together? What's your
On
opinion
the
on
social media space,
our social media space and the way
Jimmy,
we use social media?
yeah, on the social media space, the social media space is like a bag of fruits or like a bag of oranges. See, people take the choices that matters to them. We are all open. We all have the opportunity of making the choices we want out of the social media space. Some people are there for the mundane to the trivial. Some people go to the social media space to make positive, impact. Or some people to really tap positively from the social media space. It's all about choices. But it's just unfortunate that the one that stares most to the people are the negatives, the obscenities, the lewd, things and all that. But there are so many positives to be tapped from the social media space. There are so many, so many things we can learn on YouTube, even on Facebook. I learned a lot of things from, the social media space, how to do things, how to do some basic things that one can use to make money. There are so many people that make money from learning some simple tricks on social media. So we should pay attention to making better choices from the social media space. It's not just to be going to look at the nakedness, then looking at the pornographic content and all that. No, there are so many positive choices that we should make ourselves available for the positive choices. So it's all up to us.
So thank you for that. I skipped something. I wanted to ask a question. Let me go back to the issue of drug use in Nigeria. Is it really a problem? We see it on social media. For those of us who are not at home right now, is it really an issue? We see some people, we see some clips, people that are standing and they're sleeping off while they're standing. Some people want to, just jump down from the bridge. Some funny things, people rolling inside the gutter or the drainage thing, and a lot of funny things. Is it a youth problem? Is it an age-related problem? And this kind of drugs, why is it so prevalent? Are they really circulating in our system? And with all the noise, do you see any effort from the side of the authority? Is it really a problem? Is it as big as people make it sound?
Yeah, drug is a major challenge here.
Are you seeing? Is there anyone that you also are seeing with your own eyes, apart from what is reported in the news?
Hey, this is it. You see, in a lot of neighborhood markets, neighborhood kiosks and all that, for every 10 neighborhood, grocery store, for every 10, 2 or 3 is involved in exchange of drug distribution, sale and distribution of drugs to young people. See, now, when you talk to a lot of people, there are so many people you see with blue stained tongue. They will say they are using it to feel high and things like that. See, drug is a major issue. No thanks to poor regulation. The entry points into the country are so porous. So when the entry points are porous, a lot of things come in. Then people take consolation in things like drug and all that, thinking it can make them better, whereas it wasn't situation. It really wasn't situation. So that takes us back to what I said initially too. You see, the family structure needs to be worked on such that the families should monitor children. When we monitor children, we can see the strange behaviors in them and then, correct where necessary before it gets out of hand. So drug is a major issue nationwide. It's not a northern thing or a southern thing. It's a Nigerian thing that we really need to work on. Well, without praising the government honestly, the helmsman at the Drug Law Enforcement Agency has been doing a wonderful job. Talking about Buba Marwa, He has been doing a wonderful job ever since he assumed that position.
Talking about
So,
that.
but it's not a thing that for him alone or his team. We all have to be involved in a better society. The society we deserve, we should try to work on it. It's like if we want a good room, we must be able to sweep the room and make it clean, and not to wait for government to come and sweep our room for us.
Okay.
So we have to do a lot of monitoring.
Okay.
And checking on our words.
Awesome. It's just like I don't know how to put it right now. Honestly, I agree with you that on a larger scale, when it comes to the courier part of it, everybody can testify that there have been a lot of cache of drugs that the agency have been able to intercept, and some of the times they turn down inducements from the criminals. But how can we reconcile it? Just like Fela sang, water, water everywhere, there is none to drink. You'll see on the mega side, on the side of controlling the trafficking of the drugs, we see the effort of the agency. But their mandate includes actually preventing the proliferation and the penetration and the circulation, the distribution of these drugs into our system. How come we have that prevalence? How can we reconcile that we are seeing them, we are hearing what they are doing, stopping these people? But
That's what I said. That's why we all need to be involved. It's like security. Drug prevalence too is like security. Security is everybody's business. Same thing with drugs.
But some people they have that mandate to just take care of things. They have been assigned. That's why they are paid. That's why they are employed. That's their job description. That's their own assignment.
Well, you see, drug move freely within the society because the compromise level is so high, and then some people, the drug industry is a big industry, highly financially rewarding for those involved in it. So there's a lot of money to throw around for drug to be distributed, for drug proliferation and things like that. So it's worrisome. But the financial reward in the drug industry is so high that people can compromise to just pass it on.
Okay.
And the effect is enormous. It's killing the system.
Thank you so much, can I also ask this question? Because if we do this interview and do not recognize your contribution to Ogun State, it will be very unfair to what you do out there in the social media space, sharing information and calling government attention to things that need to be done, giving kudos where necessary. You have this engagement. You are a chief. You are a chief of one of the major, historical cities or town, will I say, in Ogun State, Ota. Now, in the scheme of things, we see a lot of, infrastructural deficit in Ota. I don't know how to do this. If you don't want to comment, it's just okay. Just tell me to pass it on, because I don't want to put you, in a difficult position to say. But
No.
yeah, we that don't live in Ota, even when people pass through Songo, they pass through that, side, they go through
What you mean?
Songo Ota, they pass through Idiroko Road and everything, especially the road and other things, and some other things that people believe Ota is, not believe, Ota is the most industrialized part of Ogun State, up to, all the extension of Ota. Like Aton, Agbara, and they are not extensions, but on and on there towards.
They are part of the local government.
They are part of the local government, and Ado Daughter up to Igbesa and all of those things. Is it that Ota is forgotten, neglected, or non-existent, or they only come when the votes are needed because of the population density? Why is Ota so the way it is infrastructurally? Is this something you're okay talking about?
Ota, I don't know, Ota. Local government deserve a better deal from the government of Ogun State, no doubt. You said it, this is the most industrialized part of the state. One of the fastest growing local government in Nigeria in terms of industrial growth. The contribution of this local government to Ogun State IGR revolves around 70 to 65%. I'll start to be correct about that. But it's unfortunate that the commensurate response, attention, or returns from the government doesn't match, cannot be reconciled with what the government benefits from the state, from the local government, I mean. We keep engaging, we keep, dialoguing with the government of the day that the revenue comes from here, the votes come from here. But, well, we will expect you people to at least reciprocate with the appointment, with the infrastructure, with attention, with the regard for the golden egg. Well, we will continue. We'll continue. And then you say, this is how to, the whole thing is deliberate, but this is how it affects the government. Lagos State today, the IGR in Lagos State is around, is approaching 1 trillion now. Lagos is about 2 billion naira daily. Talking about IGR. But in Ogun State, it's around 150 billion naira. See, is the distance, the contiguity, the closeness doesn't match the revenue, accruals in Lagos. Lagos, which is about just 5,000 square kilometers, and Ogun State that is around 16, 17,000 square kilometers. So the meaning is that we can take 4 or 5 Lagos states in Ogun State. And then all that the visionary leadership in Ogun State needs is to develop the borderline between Lagos and Ogun to be able to generate a revenue. Even I'm not talking about matching Lagos, naira for naira, but we should be able to generate at least 50 to 60% of what Lagos is generating. And how do we do that? Develop the borderline, starting from Agbara up to Shagamu. But the leadership of Ogun State has not been blessed with good leadership. Sorry to say this. Because, the area that needs development most, the critical area that need development is constantly denied development for sectional reasons, for primordial reasons. So, and that is why the Ogun revenue is a far cry from what is made in Lagos. The day we have the leadership that pays attention to the closest portions of Ogun State to Lagos.
The contiguous parts.
Yeah.
I have a question I write that to that. You are not the spokesman for our community, but the truth is this: from childhood, I grew up in Songo myself.
Songota.
Yeah, we both grew up in Songo. And then Songota. Okay, let me put it that way. I know there are other Songos, and we went to the same high school. We saw all these things. At least I saw it for the first 15, 16 years of my life before I went to higher institution. Is it that our people don't get their politics right? You have to manage this question very well, because there are things people can say in private, and then they don't want to appear. I don't want to put you on the spot because you are a chief of Ota. You are the Seriki Oruba of Ota. So, but is it that we don't get the politics right? Because when you even hear conversations about succession of governors in Ogun State, you will hear, that's Ogun East, Ogun West, Ogun Central, Ogun this, and it's always between Ijeburemo Egba, then although I don't care where the governor comes from, but the truth is that even if you are not having the governorship seat, as it were, why is it that other parts of Ogun State will come, they will get the ticket, and you will see visible things that they will do in other parts of Ogun State, whereas more than 50% of revenue is coming from Ota? Is it that the Ota people, and when I say Ota now, by extension, every part, like I said, Ato, Igbesa, Adodo,
The
that
local
is
government.
the local governments, including the spillover of Yewa. I don't want to talk for Yewa
Yeah.
people, but the point
Yeah.
is that I will welcome any Yewa person who wants to engage. Please contact me, or any part of Ogun State, Ijebu, Remo, please contact me through the email of this channel. If you ask Jimmy at gmail.com, we welcome your conversation. The point is it that Ota indigenes don't get this thing right? When we're growing up, we heard that Ota had a very high number of professors, intellectuals in many universities across Nigeria and the world. And it's a surprise to see that with that level of intellectual endowment to that great ancient town, I mean, is it that Ota doesn't get their politics right? Let me just put it that way. What exactly? What's your opinion on that?
Jimmy, we can do better than what we are doing. We can definitely do better than what we are doing. They say politics is a game of numbers. If our leaders have the numbers to play with, but why they have not been able to use the number to bring dividends of democracy to their area is quite unfortunate. Our leaders can do better. They can definitely do better.
Okay, I appreciate that. So sorry, when I was approaching you for this interview, I didn't tell you, I just said we're going to talk about Nigeria, but part of my, you know, part of my concern is how we see the depreciation, the dilapidation, looking like going from bad to worse. Ota just looks like use and dump. With due apology to my, Ota Songo Ota people, Adodo Ota people, Igbesa people. Even if I'm sitting on this platform that is, global, and I do not at least go to the local issues when I have a person like you who knows the environment very well, it will not be fair. Maybe someday we might create some time to really, maybe we get a collabo from other people so that we can talk about Ogun State. So back to the Nigeria question, where we are right now, is the country giving any hope? Because every time we hear we should tighten our belt, we should support the government, we should show understanding. 2 years into Asiwaju's administration, and here we are. It looks like people are hungrier, and things are more expensive. The inflation is high. On a personal note, apart from, I mean, what do you actually see? If the government, would you say the government is moving in the right direction? Because I keep saying something. There is macroeconomic policies, there are macro policies, and we need to see the micro effects, because those policies, they are not just at large. Ultimately, they are supposed to have effects in the everyday life of the people. Can we find, is there a connection? Are we see, what trajectory is the government moving with the level of hardship in the country right now? What's your opinion on that?
Yeah. See, this government, the government we have in the last 2 years, it came with lots of promises, and then they have been able to them, they feel they are doing their best, but their best is not good enough, because there is a lot of money in the system. There's a lot of money thrown around. There's a lot of money in the system, but there is a big disconnect from the huge funds, the big projects and everything, and the lives of these common citizens. So there's a big disconnect. There's a lot of money. You see, then the government really needs to make things easier by trying to break down this structure, so that we try, we have tried different types of systems of governance before, but if we try what we used to have in those days, where we have the regional arrangement, then maybe, then when people are closer to the leaders that are accountable to them, then maybe we'll be able to hold them to account. And then that way, the connection will be better. Because what the present structure, where everybody depends on Abuja, then the Abuja leaders, they will just, in a year, they come to the constituency once or twice, stay in Abuja, from Abuja to New York, from New York to London, from there to South Africa, and then back to Abuja. There's a big disconnect between the people and the leaders. So when there's a lot of money in the system, but it's not getting to the people. It's not getting to the people. Nobody is saying that leaders should hand over cash to citizens. No. What we are saying is that let the people have the roads to use. You can't give everybody cash and you can't give everybody rice. I don't know. I don't believe in this rice sharing policy that they carry about that. But what brings a lot of people together is the road we all use, the educational facilities we all benefit from, same with the health, and then the overall economy that is mild to the people, not the harsh one. You see, then for all these things to be in place, we should try and give it a thought to have governance as of old, where the people and the leaders are closer than the oldest. And nobody, because enough of telling us everything is Abuja or Abuja. No.
I like what you are saying.
Move the power closer to the people, so that I think it will really bring more prosperity.
Oloye Layi, where you took me now, it's a nice place. I love it. You know why? I wonder, okay, look at what kind of politics are these our political leaders playing? This politics of tokenism, this politics of impoverishment. It is so terrible that you remember the custom warehouse something where people were trampled upon in the process of trying to buy rice at a cheaper rate. And look at what happened in Ibadan. Our people are very quick to forget. It was just at the eve of Christmas that people had a stampede when the Olori Naomi and this guy, what is his name? This guy of Gidigbo FM, Oriyomi Amzat happened. And there were some other people in, I think, in Anambra State and also in Abuja, that same period. Do you know that nobody's talking about those issues again? Now, the government, any little thing, they are sharing money. Any little thing, they are sharing rice. Very, very ridiculous. I don't know the level of poverty and disregard and, disrespect that can be as much. And funny enough, sometimes some of these things actually favor the party patrons. And I don't know the mentality, whether these Abuja people, or it could even be locally, people do that. And when sometimes they say some things, they call it empowerment. And I just wonder that, what is going on? So I'm saying that to say this, what an insult on the rest of us, because, there was even a time, anyway, all of those tokenism. Now, like you said, we have more money cash-wise, may not be cash value-wise going to the states, and people are looking at the center. They are not holding the states and the local government accountable, even though the current government is trying to transfer some kind of power, administrative and financial power, to the local government. Now, this tokenism thing, how did we get there? And why is it that, I know people are hungry. Maybe they are not able to resist when they are told to come and collect things. And some people even would have stayed at home alive. But when they go and collect, some people end up dying or getting injured. It baffles me. What's your opinion on this tokenism kind of thing? And the next thing you will see a senator sharing, I don't know if is it their duty? They say they are sharing their empowerment. This is collective money, everybody's tax money. And they will share the whole thing from Abuja. and they'll say constituency project. If they are not giving Okada, they are giving Marua, they are giving sewing machines, they are giving one kind of maybe hair dryer and all of those things to some select people. And that is everybody's money. It's not personal money, usually to party loyalists. What kind of convolution is that?
Well, we really need to move away from this tokenism system, then move to real, issue-based, governance, where the welfare of the people really matters. You see, we are all involved in all this thing, and we all cause it. Because we don't pay attention to what we should pay attention to. That is why, that's why leaders can come every cycle, every December to come and give rise to people. That is weaponized poverty. Give rise December, give rise during Ilea, then give rise during election. Then they do it in turns and win election. But we as a people, we should try and see how to speak with one voice against it. Instead of giving rights, please fix road. Instead of giving rights, provide quality education, provide electricity. With electricity, a lot of small-scale industries will thrive. It is the collapse of small-scale industry that make people to go to where venues where they share rights, where they share empowerment stuff. That is why people go there. If people, a small-scale industry is the engine room of every economy. Then for us to have a thriving small-scale industry, things like power, roads, water should be in place. So when we have a better structure for small-scale industries to thrive, we will reduce the number of people at the sharing sites going to collect cash of 5,000 and 2 Congo of rice. So government should go back to the drawing board and sit back and see to how small-scale industries will come to life. With an improved small-scale industry everywhere, everybody will, when you are busy, you have a target to meet in your workshop on this and this. How will you have time to go and queue for rice? Queue 5 hours, 6 hours, just for a bag of 5 kilogram rice? No. So we really need to work on things that are important and de-emphasize all this sharing, whatever.
So
Thank you.
I have a question here, Oloye Layi.
Yeah.
Do you know that, okay, let me ask you this. You are a civil engineer by training and by profession.
Yeah.
What's your view on JAPA? Because I'm saying that because, you are a professional and we see a lot of professionals emptying into different parts of the world. What's your view? Things are really hard on ground, yep. And you see more people are preparing. If they get the opportunity today, they will jump out. And you can't blame them because they're just looking for greener pastures. What's your general view, opinion, and thoughts on?
Well, exiting
sorry. Wait, you have been in Nigeria. You refuse to Japa. Maybe you want to add that at the end of your conversation. Go ahead.
Exiting Nigeria, majorly by young people, for the moment, cannot be stopped. Today in Nigeria, well, there are countless opportunities in Nigeria, no doubt, but you struggle to make things happen. You strive to make things happen. In Nigeria today, you strive fixing a lot of things for yourself. Then people try to emigrate abroad because they feel the grass is greener over there. Well, there are challenges abroad, but the law, the way the Western world society is built, the law protects the ordinary citizens more. And then that gives people room to emigrate. And then if you look at professionals, professionals in Nigeria will struggle with the government, we struggle with our employer, we struggle with a lot of things. But over there, you know, I don't know why Nigerian government is not paying attention to this japa of a thing. Because in the Western world, they use everything possible to attract the best brains from Nigeria or from Africa. They use everything to attract the best brains to come and develop their system. Yes, foreign remittance comes back, and then, but you know, the quantum of development that people who emigrate abroad, the quantum of development they live in the Western world is more than the foreign remittance they bring back. So we really, for now, for the moment, we can't stop emigration, the Japa syndrome of a thing.
Okay.
In any field, be it engineering, be it medical, the academia, people are living.
Okay. I have a right.
The people in the Western world, all they want is they want productivity, and they. By now, Nigerian government should sit down and say, how do we reverse this thing? And to reverse is not rocket science. A lot of are itching to come back. If government pays attention to security and good rule of law, and then infrastructure, improve infrastructure, a lot of people will come back. There are opportunities in Nigeria. There are countless opportunities in Nigeria. But the pain people go through to make things happen is the disincentive here. And then, you know.
Right.
But unfortunately, government too, a lot of people in leadership position, let me add this. A lot of people in leadership position, themselves and their families, spend a reasonable amount of time in the Western world.
That's true.
So they are there too. So they, for the quality of life they enjoy over there, they fail to replicate the same here, and they care less about happenings here. At every opportunity, all their holidays is abroad, all their everything is abroad. There is a challenge I'm throwing around now on tourism in Africa. Then, okay, on tourism in Africa, narrowed down to Nigeria. For every opportunity that I see or read about a tourist site that is beautiful, I try to market it, and I challenge leaders that, do we have leaders marketing local beautiful tourist sites? So the Japa thing, the leaders are equally fueling it, because they too, most of our leaders have also Japa with their family.
Wow, makes sense, makes sense. Oloye, before we round off, I would like to ask this question. You are in the construction industry. Not only are you a civil engineer, I see on your page a lot of beautiful, solid construction that you're handling for your clients. And I feel impressed. Sometimes you even want to teach people in the space to do things right. I don't know, it's not just a Lagos State thing alone. I see governments pulling down structures, pulling down houses. I mean, last year it was really brutal in Lagos, in different locations, in Lekki, in Opebi, in other places, even everywhere. And Enugu State recently, we saw what happened. We also saw what happened in Anambra recently, pulling down. we,
Headquarters.
Sin, and many others, including Bianca Ojuku's, some of those. So it's not a Lagos State thing. I don't know if it's happening in Ogun State. Could there have been a better? I know our people sometimes they can be very daring. Sometimes they break the law, thinking nothing with all this, nothing they happen kind of thing, or they think that the day will never come where one government will have the courage to hold them accountable for building in places that are not, designated for building, that are forbidden. What's your opinion with the kind of economy we find ourselves? Is destruction or pulling down those structures, if those structures are not in the way of public infrastructures like drainages, we know that some of those ones have to go if they are causing flooding in some places, but those ones that are not a threat to the ecology. As a professional building person in construction, I don't know. I believe you have an association on all those things. Personal opinion and professional opinion. What would you have? What would we be saying to government on such things? Or is it good what they are doing all over?
Okay. Outside few politically motivated demolition. Outside politically motivated demolition. Most of the demolition carried out by government is justified. Most of the demolition undertaken by government is justified because I wish we can pay more attention and respect to laws, especially urban and regional laws in Nigeria. We disrespect urban and regional laws greatly, and it's affecting us. That's the reason why we have flooding and a lot of other environmental disasters.
Sorry.
So on the side of government, most of on the side of government, most of the demolition is justified. Was one would have breached, town planning regulation edicts for their structure to be marked down for demolition. Then another thing is this: for every single building government is building demolition, there are 5 others waiting. We disregard the laws of the land so much here. So we need to pay more attention. We need to pay more regard for the laws of the land, especially urban and regional planning laws. So that's that. Then on the side of the people need to respect the laws more to avoid, cases of destruction, or avoid crying, going to cry before the government. Well, but then there are some exceptional cases where some vested interests in government show interest in some lands. Then those are exceptional cases. They just dislodge people there to take over their places. It happens too.
Yeah, we
But
remember
that's the right side of it.
Yeah, I can remember the case of Morocco. Everywhere called Lekki today is ridiculous to know that those were just like the slums that people like Governor Raji Rasaki, military governor that time, the Morocco story, all the Lekki of all the Jakonde side of the Lekki, Agunge, from all of those places, from VI, right from the link of VI, where VI links up to the whole stretch of Lekki was just like I mean, the construction wasn't planned or intended for such places. And today, I don't know any axis of Lagos other than Banana Island and what is this project that is on water like this? What is that? Atlantic.
Lagos Atlantic.
Eco Atlantic, yes. Other than those two, I don't know where else. I don't know where else is as expensive as this place that, under the pretense of being a slum, they dislodged people from there in those days. And it's now, just like you said, sometimes the poor are dislodged in order to now make room for the rich. Thank you very much, Oloye Layi Deinde, for coming on this podcast today. I don't know what would be your last word before we close, because you are a public affairs commentator and you are a public affairs observer, and your activity in the space keeps people informed, keeps us engaged. I follow your page, daily across all the platforms. Now you have this platform. In a minute or two, what will you be saying generally on who we are, how we are, and the future of Nigeria, especially, I mean, generally?
Nigerians are great people. Nigerians are, in the eyes of the world, they're more for positive reasons. Well, we've had our fair share of negativity in the past, but not today. Sports, arts, entertainment, the drive, the resilience has really positioned Nigeria today. But there's still need for the leadership, better leadership, to catch up with what individual Nigerians are doing in the whole world. Nigerians are great people all over the world. So we really need the kind of quality leadership to match the quality individual Nigerians are offering in the whole world. Thank you.
I thank you so much for coming on this podcast, Oloye Engineer Layi Deinde. Thanks for your contribution and thanks for your thoughtful, you know, addition to the conversation in our community. Um, I hope that if we, when and if we, not if, when we invite you next time, that you will oblige us because I would like to have a continuous engagement with you on this platform.
Well, I really enjoyed this and I look forward to more opportunities.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. So, viewers, there you have it. Oloye Engineer Layi Deinde, a civil engineer and a chief of OTA in Ogun State, who is a national figure. Go to his page on Facebook. It is Layi, Layi Deinde, and also on YouTube, sorry, on Instagram,
Instagram, especially
Instagram,
Instagram.
also
Yeah,
X, same Layi.
yeah.
You will see
Indeed.
it's, all the addition that value addition is having to the constructive political and social engagements we are having in our space. Thank you, guys. I will not sign off without giving kudos. This one is not kudos, oh. This one is kudos. Giving kudos to OMS Consulting, who are our back-end supporters, the company that helps us to put together all our, you know, our broadcasts and take care of our editing from end to end. If you want to do anything in the social media, the new media, the digital media space, they are actually trained professionals, media professionals from terrestrial to online to everything, end to end. Please, I guarantee them, I support them, and I can vouch for them because I know the people behind that and they have done a good job for me. They are very engaging and very collaborative. Thank you very much, guys. See you on the next one when I will bring another guest your way. Until that time, I wish you a nice weekend.